Hi, boys and girls. Today we're going to talk about comparing and ordering fractions for math. So up until now, we've just been comparing fractions, saying which one is greater than or less than another one. And now we're going to do the same process with three different fractions at the same time. So instead of just comparing them, we're putting them in order. So I am pulling up my fraction strips because I like to have them. Fraction strips, here we go. And then we're going to get started. So your book throws these around, these different strategies around. My favorite strategy is still always using fraction strips. So here they have ordering fractions with the same numerator. Now they would have us using a colored pencil. So in your book, you can do this if you want to, but you don't have to. I just prefer to do it with the strips. So let's read I'm getting ahead of myself. Here's the problem. Sierra, Tad, and Dale ride their bikes to school. Sierra rides 3/4 of a mile. Tad rides 3/8 of a mile. And Dale rides 3/6 of a mile. Compare and order the distances from least to greatest. So the important part here is least to greatest. So I need to compare three fractions: 3/4, 3/8, and 3/6. So 3/4, 3/8. Now before I do this, I want you to think about the size of the denominator: 3/4, 3/8, and 3/6. Can you make a prediction which one is going to be biggest based on the size of the denominator? You can hit pause or just think about that right now. Okay, and I'm going to keep putting these up there. 3/4, 3/8. Always going to throw a 1 up there for a benchmark. And 3/6. Now, hopefully you thought to yourself, well, the 4 is the smallest denominator, and when the denominator is the smaller, the pieces are bigger. So hopefully you thought 3/4 is going to be the biggest because it's the smallest denominator. Then you thought, well, I've got a 6 and an 8 for denominator. 3/6 is going to be the next largest, and 3/8, because 8 is the biggest denominator, that's going to be the smallest. Because we're still talking, the numerator's 3 in all of them. Okay. Now this question asked for these fractions in order from least to greatest. So I kind of just talked us through all of this stuff. So I'm going to come down here to the distances in order from least to greatest are, we decided they were 3, what was the first one? Least, 3/8, because the bigger the denominator, the smaller the piece, 3/6. So smallest, next smallest, and the biggest was 3/4. Okay. These fraction strips really do help with this. 3/4, 3/8, 3/6, 3/4. You have to be really careful what order they ask it for, what order they ask for it in. So do they want least to greatest? Do they want greatest to least? Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Always important. Trying to get rid of this line. Okay. Back to pointer. There we go. All right. So here's another way. Order the fractions 2/6, 2/3, and 2/4 by thinking about the length of the unit fraction strip. So the unit fraction is always 1 over the denominator. So I'm going to go back to my fraction strips and decide which one is, shorter, between, or longest. So I've got a 1/6, a 1/3, and a 1/4. I'm going to leave this. I'm going to leave a fourth. Going to get rid of these eighths. A sixth. I believe it was a third. I don't want to do the wrong one. Yep. So actually, I'll put that there. So based on what you know about denominators, which one of these is going to be biggest? I think 1/3 takes the cake. Oh. What did I do? I don't want that. Don't want that. Oh, there we go. A sixth, a third, and a fourth. So the sixth is going to be the smallest because sixths are smaller. The fourth is going to be between. And the third is going to be the largest or the longest. So sloppy. Okay, so we know it's going to be the longest. Okay. And that's because we're using 6 is the biggest, so it's like opposite. It's the smallest. Fourth is in the middle, and third's the longest. So here, if I were doing this, greatest to least, I want the biggest first. Whoops. Make that a 2. 2/3. You guys get the picture. The between is 2/4. I don't have a mouse today, so I'm using this as a touchpad. And then the longest was 2/3. Okay. Ooh, that's a funny looking 3. Okay. There we go. Hopefully this looks pretty easy. You're just adding another fraction into the mix and saying 3 in order. All right, so this last strategy is shade fraction strips, which we've been doing with the virtual ones. You can color them, but let's think. These are all eighths. So when we have the same denominator, we can compare the numerators and just put them in order. They want the order here from least to greatest. So I'm going to look at my denominators, or my numerator. I get a 3, an 8, and a 5. Well, least is just the least of those numbers. So the least is going to be 3/8. I'm not going to worry about writing this in because my computer's being touchy. The least is going to be 3/8 because 3 is the smallest number there. Between is going to be 5/8, and then the largest will be 8/8. Okay, hopefully this is pretty simple. Okay, so I am going to have you do this on Think Central today. So you're going to log on to Think Central and do the activity for lesson 9.5, compare and order fractions. All right, guys, if you need help, have trouble, I'll be on office hours. Also, just send me an email or a message and we can hop on a Zoom. Okay, guys, talk to you soon. Bye.